It's time for the savings, folks. The Nintendo Switch eShop and Switch 2 eShop Black Friday Cyber Deals are now live, meaning you don't have to go to a store and fight a bunch of people over a copy of a game. You could simply sit at home in your underwear and buy them directly from the eShop. There's Switch 1 games on sale, Switch 2 games on sale, and there's some pretty solid deals in here. So I want to go over and highlight some of the games that I recommend you guys pick up. So if you're looking to save some coin, this is the video for you. But first, we have to give a huge thank you to today's video sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by dbrand and the Switch 2 Kill Switch, an essential for your Nintendo Switch 2. The Kill Switch is the ultimate case for your Nintendo Switch 2, built for comfort, protection, and versatility. It's got ergonomic grips for actual comfort, a custom dock adapter with USB 4, fully compatible with the official Nintendo Switch 2 dock, and it doubles as a sleek display stand, and a crush-proof travel cover, now with a frosted game card holder for up to 10 games. No more digging through your games like a freaking caveman. Oh, and it's Black Friday season, pal, and they're offering the deals with up to $45 off the Kill Switch for your Nintendo Switch 2. And every order gets a free pack of playing cards. Playing cards are cool because it's like magic. Pick a card, any card. Is this the card you picked? Right here? Huh? Is that it? I mean, you'll never be able to tell me, so I'm a magician. So take your magical skills over to dbrand's website by clicking the link in the description box down below or in the pinned comment section to get your dbrand Kill Switch for your Nintendo Switch 2, along with a free pack of playing cards, pal. Huge thank you to dbrand for sponsoring today's video. Alright, so like I said, these deals are active between now and December 3rd, so you have a little bit of time in order to figure out which games you want to buy and which games you might want to skip out on. I'm simply just going to give some recommendations of stuff that I've played and thoroughly enjoyed. Now, kicking things off, we have two first-party games, Splatoon 3 and Paper Mario the Origami King. Splatoon 3 being $41.99, Origami King being $40. I mean, if you haven't bought Splatoon 3, they did do a free Nintendo Switch 2 update patch for this game, and it does look and run quite a bit better than it did on the original Nintendo Switch, especially in the overworld areas. Origami King, it's not bad, you know, it's all right for the most part, I feel, but if you only could pick one of those games, I would probably go with Splatoon 3. If you're looking for some football action on your Nintendo Switch, we'll technically have two different options here. Madden NFL 26 and EA Sports FC 26 are both on sale for $34.99. Now, I paid a premium price for Madden 26, hoping that it would be at 60 frames per second, and it is not. The frame rate pacing is still a bit wonky in the game as well. However, if you are looking for a traditional American football experience on the Nintendo Switch 2, this is the only ball game in town. And the same thing can be said about FC 26 as well if you're looking for a more European football experience. I think at $35, like, it's all right. You know, like, if as long as you go in with expectations of, okay, this isn't going to look and play as good as it does on the PlayStation 5, and, you know, it doesn't run at 60 frames per second. FC 26 doesn't run at 60 FPS either. I don't think there's any patches coming for those games. I think you're just going to have to kind of sit and deal with it, and hopefully next year they end up fixing that. Scrolling on down the list here, Luigi's Mansion 3 is available for $39.99, a game that I feel desperately needs a Switch 2 update patch because I think it could just look even better than it looks originally. But Luigi's Mansion 3 is one of the best games on the original Nintendo Switch, in my opinion. It's a beautiful looking game. It runs really well. There's all sorts of spooks and surprises coming along. I mean, it's not a scary game. It's a Luigi's Mansion game, but there is a lot of fun to be had with this game. And if for some reason you have not picked it up yet, $40 is an extremely solid deal. Split Fiction for the Nintendo Switch 2 down to $39.99, and that might actually be a price point that I'm interested in this game. Now, this is obviously a game that you have to play with someone else, whether it's someone in the room with you or someone online. So people that are kind of lone wolves, such as myself, I mean, you're kind of left out in the dust here. This isn't a game for myself because I don't want to play with other individuals. This is a game for someone with a bright and shining social life. And if you are that person, or if you have someone who lives in your house with you that you can make play the game with you, that's a pretty solid deal. It's definitely nice to see Switch 2 games on sale during Black Friday because, I mean, we need it. Another Switch 2 game that I highly recommend, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 for $30. This is actually a very impressive port on the Nintendo Switch 2, in my opinion. It features cross-platform play as well, so if your friends play online on either, PlayStation or Xbox, you can actually play with them. Yes, they did change up some things from 3 and 4. 4's career mode is completely different as well. It's more in line of what you would expect from 3, but I still think they're fun games. Like, they did add in some stuff to rectify the stuff that they removed as well. For $30, you're getting 2 games. There's a lot of multiplayer stuff you can do. There's online stuff that's been added into it. You could check out my full video on the games that I made, but I was definitely enjoying these, and I still pick it up from time to time just to mess around and play like free play online and stuff. It's a really solid experience on the Nintendo Switch too. I'm sorry, but it is crazy to see like first party and first party published Nintendo Switch 1 games still at these high prices. $40 for WarioWare Move It, $41.99 for Bayonetta 3. This game came out in it's over 3 years old. You could do a little bit of a price drop with this game. And yes, the Switch 2 does make the game run better because one of the biggest issues with Bayonetta 3 was the performance on the Switch 1, which actually really took me out of the experience. I really did not enjoy just how the game sort of felt, especially after playing Bayonetta 2 on the system. But I guess, it's Nintendo. Their games never go super, super cheap. So maybe $42 is the price point that you've been looking at this game to be at, but your mileage will vary with it. Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, X Shadow Generations. I don't quite know how you say it, but this is a solid pickup at $30 for the Nintendo Switch 2. I, of course, am a Sega fan. I, of course, am a Sonic fan. And these games look and play absolutely fantastic on the Nintendo Switch 2. If you are doing the Shadow additional content, make sure you put it on performance mode. I don't know why there is a graphics quality mode that makes it run at 30 when it really doesn't look all that much different than what you're getting with the performance mode in it, and the performance mode makes it run at 60. But this is a super fun game, especially if you're a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. Revisiting familiar areas and new areas that you might not have ever seen before, or from a different perspective of the Sonic the Hedgehog timeline, really makes this game a super enjoyable game. And at $30, like, that's a pretty good deal for a Switch 2 game. Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus on Nintendo Switch for $5.99. I mean, it's a $6 game. You can't go wrong with a $6 game. It might not be the prettiest looking version of Wolfenstein 2, but I actually played through this entire game on the original Nintendo Switch, and I was fine. It wasn't the best looking game, but it was a very fun game and a very sort of, especially when this game came out, it was kind of like the impossible port era of the Nintendo Switch 1. And I feel like it's still a really fun game that you could still have a good time with, especially for $6. Like, that's an absolutely insane deal for a game of that sort of quality. MLB The Show 25 is available for $8.99. I mean, it's a sports game, so if you're a diehard sports fan, you might already have this game. But if you've ever wanted to see how MLB The Show performs on the original Nintendo Switch, and it actually does run a little bit better on the Nintendo Switch too, I mean, for $9, you could do a lot worse. I feel like $9 is cheaper than most people's lunches these days. So whenever you see a game under $10, it's definitely kind of taking a additional look at to see just what you're getting out of this. And the final game we'll highlight is Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. Now, this was actually a really well done Nintendo Switch 2 game. The combat didn't really stick with me all that well. It's very fast. It almost feels like a hyper sped up beat 'em up style game, which there's nothing wrong with that inherently. But for me, I was kind of hoping for a little bit of a slower, more methodical combat system. It had been a while since I played a Yakuza game. I hadn't played one since the PS2. I'm still having fun with the game whenever I decide to pick it up and kind of explore the world that they've crafted in there. And it looks and performs very, very nicely on the Switch too. So if you've kind of been on the fence about this game, I think $35 is a very, very solid deal that you can, of course, take advantage of. Now, these are just the dedicated Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 sales that Nintendo is doing for their specific cyber deals. There's going to be more deals that come along from third-party developers who didn't participate in this as well. That will be sort of a separate thing, but I figured you guys would want to kind of get ahead of the cusp and see what games are out there and see what games you might be interested in picking up.
And speaking of some of those third-party games, hi, Brett here, Sean's editor. I couldn't let this video end without mentioning some amazing games that are on sale right now that you should definitely look into. First off, Hogwarts Legacy for Nintendo Switch 2 can be purchased for a little over $20 at $20.49. However, if you go to the store and look for it, it's going to say $41.99. But there's a trick that not a lot of people realize. If you purchase the Nintendo Switch 1 version of Hogwarts Legacy for $10.49, you can easily upgrade to the Nintendo Switch 2 version for only $10 more. All you have to do is play through the opening cutscene, and then you can pay $10 more to get the Nintendo Switch 2 version. The other game I had to highlight is Batman Arkham City, which is currently only $10. That's a freaking steal. It still might be the best Batman game of all time, and it runs like a dream on Nintendo Switch 2. The free flow combat is amazing and 100 times better than whatever the hell they did in Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad. And lastly, because I know RGT would never mention a game like this, because he's not a weeb, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc is only $4.49 on the eShop right now. It's a visual novel, but stick with me. That's not all it is. A group of students are imprisoned in their high school, and they're forced to play a deadly game. Essentially, to escape, a student has to kill another student without getting caught and without being figured out in a courtroom-style trial. You basically become a detective, and the story goes places that I'm surprised are even allowed to be in a video game. Let's just say it's very dark. Okay, sorry, back to Sean.
So let me know in the comment section down below, that is, whether or not you plan on picking up any of these games, maybe what some of your recommendations are as well. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, and share. You can hit dislike too if you want. It won't hurt my feelings that much. And as always, a big thank you to our sponsor, D-Brand. Check out the link in the description box or pinned comment down below to save on your kill switch. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.